Hello, I'm Dwayne Becker. I'm a mortgage agent and investor. And today we're going to be talking to Bruce Smith of Cask Management Group about advice for investors. Now, he's a consultant with Cask Management Group, has been based in London for 20 years with a focus on private financing as an accredited lender. He holds a Bachelor of Business Management and is also a real estate investor himself, and has contributed to publications such as London Incorporated, Enterprise Magazine, Canadian Professional, and The Londoner. Welcome, Bruce, to this discussion.
Hey, Dwayne, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, pleasure to speak with you today. If you were to, so we'll get right to it. If you were to start investing again, right from the word go today, where would you start?
Oh, wow. I think there's so many avenues. I won't talk specifically about the different vehicles that you could use because you can do, rent-owns, you can do BRRRRs, you can do secondary suite conversions, Airbnb. Like there's a lot of different, flips. There's a lot of different options. But I think it starts with the mindset for me. It's sort of things people say, what's the best advice I give investors? Well, a lot of it starts with the mindset. So it is, having a winning mindset, and it's painful. There's a lot of pain involved in being successful. And I always use professional athletes as an example. They train for hours and hours and hours, and they're in the gym and they're working out. There's a lot of pain for them to have success. So people need to realize that, yeah, there's a lot of hard work involved in that. And you're either disciplined enough to put in the hard work, or you're going to have the regret of not doing it. So I always say, yeah, there's pain involved, the pain of success or the pain of regret. You pick, but there's going to be some pain involved. So I think winning mindset is number one, or at least one of the top ones that I look at. I think in terms of other things that we look at, running your own race is important. So I'll go to seminars and they'll say, well, you've got to get so many doors, and the idea is to get as many doors as you can. You run your own race. It's like running in a marathon. If I'm running a marathon, you ask a marathon runner, who are you racing against? They say, oh, I'm racing against myself. I'm trying to beat my best time. Because they're not beating the Kenyans. If they're the one the Boston Marathon, you're not beating the Kenyans. I can have the best coaching, the best nutrition. I'm not going to win that race. So I'm not racing against the Kenyans. I'm racing to beat my best time. So run your own race. So I think that's important. So don't get sucked into someone else's dreams. It's, what are your goals and what are you trying to achieve? Another thing I say that you want to do is to align your goals to your values. People say, well, what do you mean align my goals? Well, your goals, have to be measurable, be realistic, but they also have to align to what's important to you in life. So you may have, say, a goal. Let's use weight loss, for example. People say, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, that's not a good enough goal. You need to say, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds in 90 days. That's my goal. Okay, so there's a measurable goal. But then how close is it aligned to your values? If you're 20 years old and you say, yeah, weight loss isn't important to me, I'm going to live forever, you're not going to achieve that because it's not, you don't want it enough. So you've got to really have the, I want it and I want it bad. Only the hungry dog eats. So there has to be, the big demand for that. What else is things that you would want to do? I know, dealing with, people say you deal with people you know, like, and trust. I say, what exactly does that mean? I hear that all the time. Only deal with people you know, like, and trust. And you go to these, what does that mean? I met someone at a seminar and now I know them. You don't know them. People only tell you, you only know people to the degree they want you to know them. So when I say, well, Bruce, how do you know people? I pull their credit report, net worth statement. I know them. I don't have to meet them. I don't have to have ever met them face to face, talk to them on the phone. Net worth statement, credit report, I know who they are. And then that's how I know people. It's based on the numbers. Do I like people? Zig Ziglar says, I love you, but just not that much. So what he's saying is, it's actually a detriment to like people because, you're friends with people and you give them the benefit of the doubt when they really don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So I always joke, I say, yeah, I try to dislike everyone equally. Because again, if it's like or dislike, then I'm only dealing with 50% of the people if I have to like or dislike them. So I don't bring like or dislike into it. It's, are they competent is really what I'm looking at. So do I know them? Are they competent? And then, yeah, the trust is based on the combination of those two things. If they present themselves honestly, and I know who they are, then yeah, why wouldn't I do business with them? So I look at that as as a situation. Yeah, dealing honestly with people. You got to be honest with your lenders, because your lenders are going to find out stuff, and investors are probably the worst people for overstating their situation. Let's say it that way. Give examples. Someone will, I've got 10 homes. I own 10 homes, and they come in for financing. Great. Okay, so I need 10 mortgage statements, 10 property tax bills. Well, I don't have those. Well, why wouldn't you have those? You own 10 properties. Well, my joint venture partners own the homes. So what you're saying is you don't own any homes. Okay, so yeah, there's not much I can do for you. I need to talk to the people that are actually borrowing the money. So those are the people that I need to talk to. So yeah, just be honest. I have 10 joint venture properties, or I've had clients come in, gentleman comes in, yeah, I own this, sixplex in St. Thomas, great. It's in a corporation, great. Show me the articles of incorporation. Well, this says, Joe Smith on this. You're Brian Smith. Who's Joe Smith? Well, Joe Smith's my father. So it's your father that owns Triplex and saying, okay, so I've got to speak to him. I can't speak to you because I need to speak to the person that's actually going to be borrowing the money. So the point is just be honest with people, and that'll get you much further.
So what you're saying is some investors may have a habit of embellishing. So they're not lying to you on purpose. They just maybe exaggerate their stories a little bit.
Yes, I think that's very common, and that's the most frustrating thing for me is because in sales, perception is reality, and that's what people think. They're doing a sales function. They're at a seminar. They want to sell people something or sell their course or whatever. So the sales is perception. If they can convince someone of something, then they believe it. To me, I do a numbers game. So mine is reality is reality. In finance, reality is reality. It's all about the numbers. So yeah, perception-wise, I've had people pull up to my office, $250,000 Lamborghini Countach. I couldn't pay his Visa bill, but he could drive a $250,000 car. So that didn't really impress me because, again, the reality is, yeah, you're bankrupt. You can't even pay your Visa bill. Yet you think you can drive, the appearance would be that you're successful, where in my mind, you're really not. So you can't pay your bills. Conversely, I have the little old lady that's coming into me, and I see her pick up a pop can on her way up the steps, put it in her purse. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, this is sad. She's got a recycled pop can. She's going to have no money. And I'm looking at her bank balance and saying, ma'am, you've got way too much money sitting in your bank. You've got to find a financial planner because you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars here that you're just sitting in your bank. So perception is not reality in finance. Reality is reality in finance. So that's the distinction I make. So yeah, just be honest with people.
So you're just beginning in investing. Do we go looking for a coach? Do we go looking for a mentor? What's your opinion on
okay,
that
so that's an important distinction. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So people often interchange coaches and mentors. And the way I say it, a coach is paid, a mentor, they're doing it because they like you. So I always use the hockey example. I go back, Wayne Gretzky had a coach, and he was paid to teach Wayne Gretzky how to play hockey or the systems. But Wayne Gretzky also had that grizzled veteran that was on the team that takes Wayne under his arm and say, okay, Wayne, this is how you're a pro in the big leagues. So he has a coach and he has a mentor. So to me, it's hard to find coaches. It's really hard to find good coaches because I find the situation has changed. Like back in the day, you paid for information. If I wanted to, and I always use Tony Robbins for an example, motivational speaker, Tony Robbins. So if I wanted to see Tony Robbins speak, I had to pay and go to his seminar and listen to him speak, because that was the only way I could access the information. So I was paying for information. Now, Tony Robbins is on YouTube, we have the internet, he's got books, whatever. I don't need to go see Tony Robbins in person because everything he's going to say, he's either said it in a book or he said it on YouTube or it's on the internet. So the fact that the internet now has access to information, I always say don't pay a coach for information, only pay a coach for implementation. And I go back to the hockey example. NHL coaches, they get fired all the time. They're the best of the best in the world, and they get fired all the time. And why? Because you're hired to be fired. So I always say when you're looking for a coach, you're hiring them to fire them. And I've heard people say, "Oh, I've got my coach for 20 years." What are you, stupid? He only has so much information. It's taken you 20 years, and you still don't know everything he knows. Like you should be knowing it quickly. Now, mentors, you could have for a lifetime, or you could have multiple mentors, you could have multiple coaches. But I always say, your coach, you're hiring your coach to fire them, so know when to let them go. And don't pay for knowledge, pay for implementations. People say, well, what do you mean pay for implementation? So I use the example of a loaf of bread. I can go to the store and buy a loaf of bread, and $2 for a loaf of bread, I take a loaf of bread and go home. So let's say the aisle right next to the loaf of bread, there was a ingredients on how to make bread or instructions on how to make bread. So people will say, well, yeah, buy that for $2. Yeah, you learn how to make your bread. You'll never have to buy another loaf. Teach a man to fish, give a man to fish, that type of logic. No, I just want to, I'll pay my $2 to get my loaf of bread. And that makes more sense than me buying the ingredients and learning how to make the bread myself. So I go back to the financing. I don't understand why people don't use mortgage brokers. Like I see coaches saying, oh yeah, how are you going to develop credibility? How do I develop credibility so people will deal with me? Well, you design a website and you post all your flips and you do this and this. When I've gone to the bank, they've never asked to see my website. They've never asked for my social media profile. It's about the numbers. So I don't understand why people would say, or coaches would say, yeah, do all this work, when if it was a good coach would say, just call Dwayne. Dwayne's got 20 guys that'll lend on this deal. Why are you wasting your time doing this? It's called Dwayne because he can implement for you. So that's, to me, what people should do. If you try to find a good coach, but pay a coach that can implement, not just give you knowledge, because knowledge is on the internet. You can find that. If I want to find anything, how do I find off-market properties? Well, I can find 5 videos. I watch those 5 videos. Between those 5, I've probably figured out how to find off-market properties. So, but let me find the guy that can actually get me off-market properties. Or what can you do for me? Well, Bruce, I can go in and negotiate these off-market properties for you. That's what I can do for you. That's why you're paying me. Okay, so maybe I'm paying for that. So,
or perhaps teach you how to negotiate, right? So you're paying your coach to help you learn skills. So you're paying your coach to learn skills and polish those skills so that you can move forward.
Yeah. There are skills that you need to learn. There's soft skills. There's hard skills. Like in finance, our business or your business, you have some soft skills because you're part salesman, but you also have to know the numbers, and you have to understand. Yeah, if you don't know how to do credit reports, and you don't know how to do applications, and you don't know how the numbers work, then you're not going to be very successful as a mortgage broker. So yeah, you can learn both the soft skills and sort of the hard skills. Yeah.
So the Facebook posts and those sorts of things, and documenting your projects and that sort of stuff, that would be more geared towards less traditional financing.
Yeah, that's to impress the dumb money lenders. So yeah, so when people, and it's interesting. It's not that it's not valuable. There is some value there, but it's not the easiest way to do it. The easiest way is pick up someone who has the lenders in their pocket and call them and get the deal done. So yeah, I've posted on social media before, and people saying, well, I'm looking for whatever $200,000 first mortgage on a flip, and then the guy says, oh, lend to this guy. He's got great net worth. Well, if he's got great net worth, he's not on the internet, trying to get 200,000. He's going to his bank and getting, like, he's got a solution. He's not trolling the internet for money. So yeah, you're trolling the internet for money is not the way to do it. It's you pick up the phone, you call the guy that has the money. It's that easy. It's not that complicated. So when coaches should be giving you the simplest solutions, the easiest solutions. In the case of finance, just call your mortgage broker. He's got 20 guys in his pocket. He'll know who can lend on the deal. So why make it any harder than it has to be? So.
Now, we'll circle back. You had talked about a winning mindset. So in your opinion, what exactly is a winning mindset?
I think for winning, it's just, having the motivation to do it. And I've heard other people say, well, your coach, well, he motivates me. If you need someone else to motivate you, then you got a problem. Wayne Gretzky didn't need his coach to motivate him. He was self-motivated. That's why he was a great player. So yeah, you've got to have the motivation and the willingness to put in the work, because it is hard work. Like I'll go to seminars as well, and they say, well, yeah, I quit my job and now I'm a full-time real estate investor. Well, isn't that a job? Like I'm self-employed, or was self-employed as a mortgage broker. I'm just leaving one self-employment to take on a new self-employment opportunity. I quit my job and it's easy. There's a lot of hard work, or should be hard work if you're doing it right. So yeah, you've got to be able to put in the effort. So it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of discipline, but a lot of it is discipline. It's just, being disciplined to get into a routine. And I don't think it's important. Like some people say, I get up in the morning and I meditate for an hour, and then I go to the gym for an hour, and then I read motivational books for an hour. And then, I do some writing for an hour, and 4 hours in, then I start my day. To me, I roll out of bed. 5 minutes later, I'm at my desk and I'm ready to go. So I don't think the routine is so important as you having a routine. But yeah, you better, if you're going to roll out of bed and be at your desk, then every day you roll your bed and you be at your desk at a certain time, and you're in your routine, and then you're going to find a routine that works for you. But I don't think it'd be important. It's not so important what the routine is. It's that you have a routine and you stick to it.
So the consistency,
The discipline.
the consistent effort over time.
Yeah, just like the athlete that's in the gym twice a day. They're always there, 7 in the morning to lift weights, and then they're back at 4 o'clock to do whatever else they're doing, like every day. Discipline. So it comes down to discipline.
So there's something to that takes 10 years to become an overnight success? Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. But I do think when you talk about that, one problem, I think the biggest problem investors make is they miss opportunities. I think we are all presented with opportunities every day, and it's the people that are successful or the people that recognize the opportunities and take advantage of them. And I'll use a simple example. You go to a networking meeting and someone gets up there and says, well, I'm looking for $200,000 for a flip. And then I get up there and say, well, I've got $200,000, I'd like to lend on a flip. And then he never comes over and talks to me, during the break. And I'm looking over there, well, he's going to come over, we'll make eye contact, he'll come over. And he never comes over. And I'm thinking, how obvious do you need to be hit overhead? There's an opportunity to solve your problem, yet you don't recognize the opportunity. And I think, whether you're rich, you're poor, opportunity passes you by every day. It's the rich people that see it and take advantage of it, and the poor people that don't recognize it. And I think everybody's guilty. I'm guilty. I'm sure opportunities pass me by every day. I miss out on. Someone will send me an email. I'll dismiss the email, but if I'd looked at it carefully, I said, "Oh, there might have been an opportunity for me to do some lending or something like that." So really, life is full of opportunities. I think for everybody, it's equal. You just have to recognize them and attract them. You attract them when you recognize them. So I think that's important for all investors.
So we'll have a little bit of a chicken and egg conversation. You and I may or may not agree on this. Do we figure out the financing or do we find the property first?
Well, I've had a lot of people say they find the property and then the money will find you. I tend to find the money first and then find the property, because it's so much easier. If you know how you're going to finance something, then you know your parameters of what you're looking for in terms of a property. And I'm not also looking at financing this deal. I'm looking at the next deal. So I'm always I always think it's not as important how I finance this deal. It's, do I set myself up to be able to finance the next deal? So that's sort of my approach. And even when I was a mortgage broker, I would tell investors, I'd say, yeah, my job is not to finance this deal. My job is to help you finance your next deal. So I always do the financing first and then go look for property. But because to me, then you're scrambling. You find a property, you've got 2 weeks to close or a week to close, and now you're scrambling trying to find a solution. Well, you should have that solution in place. So
dig the well before you're thirsty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Now, some deals, the financing may be specific to that property. So sometimes there's properties that you may come across that you had traditional financing lined up, but the lender's not going to lend on it. So let's say it doesn't have a functioning kitchen or doesn't have a functioning bathroom, or some of those pieces are not in place, but it's still a good deal. So what would you say to that point?
Yeah, so you need to be able to pivot. So you would have your preferred way of financing, and then you'd have the alternative ways of financing. It's no different than you as a mortgage broker. You always want to put your clients into A lenders. But if they can't qualify, then you're pivoting to B and then to mix and to privates, and you've got options A, B, C, and D. So I think people should be set up. Yeah, here's my options A, B, C, and D. And in a perfect world, yeah, I'm set up to do this. If there's a variant, then I pivot here. If there's another variant, then I pivot over here. But again, there's no reason why you shouldn't have these things lined up, and you have the names of people you're going to use, your lenders already lined up, depending on what type of situation. Yeah, if you're doing a vendor take back, then you're not going to your bank for vendor take back or your alternative lenders or your mix or your true privates. You're going to your dumb money. So why you're beating your head against the wall, or if you're looking for vendor take back, you're beating your head against the wall. So don't beat your head against the wall. Just go the first time to the lender that's going to lend on it. And then you'll find you'll be very successful that way.
And that cycles back to another video that we did that was on the 6 different lender classes, which you may want to take a look at another time. So today we've given a little bit of advice for investors. Thank you, Bruce, for sitting down and talking with me today.
Wow.
And yeah, Have a fantastic afternoon. You can find Bruce at castmanagement.com, and you can find me at beckwoodfinancial.com. Thanks so much, and have a great afternoon. Cheers.